Well, actually, to be honest, I had in mind to get in touch with you about this project before you got in touch with me. I'd even asked my manager to drop you a line and tell you that I had an idea for a library and to ask if you would be willing to do it with us. But then I met one of your staff, Harry, in London. He came to my show. He was friends with one of the members of my band, and he told me he works for Spitfire, and I'm like, wait, that's great. I've been meaning to get in touch with you guys. Can you ask your bosses whether they would be up for doing a library? I have a great idea. I want to do it with you. Yeah, I use a lot of samples for demo making, but so far never on anything released. They always get replaced when we record things. But you still want them to sound great because that's how you get inspired and it's much more fun to work that way. The idea for this came about when I was working on the second season of Broadchurch, where I had most of the themes already written. I had a lot of music already written, but we still had to deliver 40 minutes of music every week, and I refused to use the same thing twice. Um, so we got this idea about creating a bank of string textures, something that we could just have there and add it to whatever we had to make it slightly different, you know. So me and Victor, who plays on this library, we went and we created 20 or 30 different textures in a few different keys, the keys of the main themes. And then when I was making the score, I could just pull these in and add them into the score wherever I wanted. But you know, in the end, maybe 10 of those are actually usable, and then after one episode, you've used them all. So it's very limited. So I really wanted to create something which where I could generate those textures, and you could have endless possibilities and actually use them because they would sound just like my strings sound on the soundtrack. They're recorded the same way. We're not doing any legato or anything like that. We're just creating textures, and there's no reason for why they should sound like samples, you know. Me and Victor have been working together since 2010, and he's a composer himself, not only a violinist. So he's actually been probably one of the most influential people in my career about shaping my sound, because I write something for strings, and then when he plays it, he says, hey Oli, I think we should play it like this, you know. It doesn't change the notes, it just changes the sound of it. And he got me really interested in really working with the way strings sound, not only what notes they play. So he's been probably my closest collaborator and co-arranger and name it for the last 5 years. He's a sound nerd, and he likes to manipulate his violin in ways that other people wouldn't. He makes it sound like a flute sometimes, or or the opposite. You know, he plays a lot on the neck, sul tasto. At least when he plays with me. With other projects, he might play completely differently. But and this whole airy, soft sound has very much become the sound of my strings on my albums, of my other players as well, and I think Victor has been very influential in that. Well, I wanted the strings to sound like exactly they would on my record or on my soundtracks. So we went into a studio that I would normally work in. We used mics that I normally would use, and we recorded it processed in the way that I would normally process the strings. And I think that's the most important thing, because I actually do a lot of EQing on strings. I process them quite a lot. I'm in no way a purist when it comes to recording classical instruments, um, because I need to fit them with electronic instruments. I need to fit them with all these things that are so different from strings, and therefore you have to kind of process them to match it up with it. So this library is kind of designed to work very well with very different instruments. It's pretty much exactly what I wanted it to be and exactly what I imagined it would be, except better. It's so much fun to play around because these evolutions are so long, and there's always something new happening. Things are phasing, and you can get billions of possibilities in there. It's great, and I really imagine I will be using it quite a lot on my next soundtrack. Firstly, because I'm a user of Spitfire and pretty much exclusively Spitfire when it comes to strings and you know, scoring samples. As for why I'm a Spitfire user, it's because it seems like you guys, you know, you do everything very well, but you still leave an opportunity for a human mistake in things, and that's what makes these samples realistic. That's what makes them natural. You don't go and try to clean every noise out of it or every creak of a chair, because, and that's also something that I do on my own records. I leave these little things in the music, you know, the creaking of the piano keys and piano samples, or you know, maybe the bow of the violinist hits the body of the violin somewhere. That's totally okay, because that's what people do in real life. That's, you know, and that tells you that these samples are actually human beings playing them. Doesn't sound like a synthesizer. I'm in the middle of a tour with my side project. Well, what used to be my side project, called KIASMOS, which is a kind of electronic dance music project that I started with my friend. We're in Helsinki now, have a gig here tonight, and we're just about finished with our world tour, which we've been doing for the last 6 months. But actually, in the next 3 weeks that are left, we still have Asia, South America, USA, and a few more shows in Europe. So
Fantastic.
it doesn't feel like it's almost finished.